Okay, today we're going to be talking about urbanization and industrialization, so let's look at the big ideas first. Number one, identify the origins, characteristics, and consequences of industrialization. Second is compare and contrast the industrialization of Russia, Japan, and Britain. And the third, describe the environmental impacts of industrialization and urbanization. So, first, let's look at urbanization, just real briefly. Urbanization was the process of cities sprouting up due to the Industrial Revolution, and usually they kind of grew up around coal and iron mines and major factories. And what we are going to see is that there's going to be some new social classes develop. That's going to be the new middle class along with the working class. And the middle class are the people who are going to be owning the factories, running the mines, owning railroads, operating the railroads. And their life is going to be much more comfortable than that of the working class. The middle class is not the wealthy, but they're not the working class. Farm workers who become mine and factory workers and face tough conditions are going to be that working class type. Whereas the middle class, or the bourgeoisie, were merchants, inventors, artisans, and so there's a distinct difference between the two classes of people. And the middle class are going to live in furnished homes. They live on paved streets. They have a healthy supply of water, and they can afford to have the wife and the mother of the family stay home and take care of their children. And that differs from the wealthy, who actually pay maid servants to take care of the children, and the working class, who can't afford to have anybody stay home and actually have to have the children out in the workplace in order to survive. So the industrial working class, they struggle to survive. They live in very foul, small, smelling apartments, which are known as slums and tenements. And they pack into these tenements, which are multi-story apartment buildings. You can kind of see it here and here. They're very small. Sometimes they cram multiple families into it. They're characterized with no sewage or sanitation systems, so people simply throw their waste and garbage into the streets for it to rot, and so it smells horrendous in these areas. Along with that, any sewage that does get dumped goes into the rivers, creating more smells and also contaminating the drinking water. And what this leads to is the infectious disease cholera being spread around very rapidly. Another issue at this time is working conditions for the working class. Unlike in when people were farming, where they kind of set their own schedule and things changed by the season, workers face a very strict, rigid schedule in the factories. It's not self-paced. They work at the factory owner's orders. Shifts last 12 to 16 hours. They work 6 or 7 days a week. And the machines they're working around have no safety mechanisms. It's not uncommon for workers to lose fingers, limbs, and even their lives. And many of the early factory workers are women. Managers felt they adapted better and could be managed easier than men. And they also paid them half a man's salary. So it just made sense to the factory owners to hire women. Miners actually have it worse than the factory workers. They work in the dark. All day they spend breathing in coal dust, and this literally destroys their lungs. They also face other dangers, explosions going on around them, the possibility of flooding, and the possibility of the tunnel that they're working in collapsing. So it's very dangerous all around for many of the working class at this time. And the working class does not exclude child labor. It plays a prominent role. And many children start working at age 7 and 8. One of the advantages is they're small, they're nimble, and they're able to work in the textile mills, whether it's operating certain machines or whether it's repairing machines, because they're so small and able to get into tight places. And once again, children in the mines actually have it even worse. For many of them, they spend all day in complete darkness, opening and closing air vents, or hauling heavy loads of coal in extreme heat. But parents accept it for a few reasons. One, children had kind of always worked. When people were living on farms, children helped around the farms. It's vastly different, though, working from a farm than in a factory or a mine. The other thing is many working class family needed the children to work in order just to keep their head above water financially. So it's not uncommon for children to work at very, very young ages. So we need to look at some of the results of industrialization. Is it good or bad? You have lots of people working dangerous jobs for 60, 70, 80 hours a week every single week. Terrible hardships come about from it. Losing limbs, losing lives, losing loved ones. So what's going to happen is we're going to see in time there's going to be people, reformers, who are going to push for laws to help improve these working conditions. People are going to join together, form labor unions, which give them a right to bargain for better wages, better hours, and better conditions. And there are going to be some positives. Jobs are created at a rapid rate at this time because population's booming, job market's booming, and demand for goods is booming. When there's a demand for goods and products, new products are created to fill that void. And so that means new jobs are created as well. Along with that, wages are going to begin to increase, and we see the cost of things start to go down. One of those specifically is the cost of railroad travel drops, which allows some people for the first time to actually visit places they never would have dreamed of before. So you can't look at industrialization as being a totally good or totally bad thing. There's definitely a combination. For some people, it was totally great. The working class was not them. But in time, the working class is going to get better and better conditions and better outcomes. So finally, let's revisit the big ideas. Identify the origins, characteristics, and consequences of industrialization. Compare and contrast the industrialization of Russia, Japan, and Britain, and describe the environmental impacts of industrialization and urbanization.